There is nobody in the league who would take on a player who just had 2 major injuries back to back, one of which was stupid as shit, who slips and falls in a fucking bathroom and tears an Achilles.
I thought that shit was a joke.
I was like, oh, this nigga on drugs. Like, it's clear like his personal life has bled over into his job.
The cat is out the bag.
We in the building right now. It's just like when you hear it, yo, I live vicariously through you.
So,
Just say money.
I'm from DC.
Okay, this is a political city.
Man, we try to do that.
Hey, what's good in the hoodie? It's your boy B.Doyle. I got my man. Oh, look, Tay is down Noya, and Robbie Robinson is completing some work. You know what I'm saying? Home on the home front, but we got my homegirl, me and Sparrow. Let's clap it up, y'all. Hey, man, look, we gonna get into that Love Be Single, and we're gonna talk about Road to Paradise. But what y'all think about these scandals going on though, man? What's up with all these?
Hey, like, can you pick one?
Look, when I logged on to Facebook this morning,
the R. Kelly
for some reason, like, it was just all like sex scandals. It was like people reposting sex scandals, or like, this is what's happening, or this is this. It wasn't like a formulated post that somebody individually posted. It was like a repost or something that it was weird. It kind of had me weird.
The R. Kelly joint funny as shit. Like, everybody keep making the memes, man. Like,
man, they went ham on the memes, man.
Some junk. I was dying laughing, bro.
But you know what's crazy? Every day I see a post where I think the big thing with like the R. Kelly and now the Michael Jackson scandal.
I ain't even watched that documentary.
And it's all coming from black men. No offense.
None taken.
Everybody is like, all the media is like demolishing the character of these black men. Why don't they do these white men like this? Okay, that's true. I don't disagree that there is clearly a slant in the media that is after these African American men who may or may not have committed these crimes, right? But I think as African Americans, like, did y'all just get here? Like, you don't know, new, like, right? You don't know your history. Like, none of this is new. All of it's predicated on race and bias. So if we know that to be true, if we've experienced that for 439 years of captivity and then another 50 to 60 years post civil rights era, why do you think you can do anything and get away with it? That means that your character needs to be exemplary. No spots on your record. And everybody make mistakes, but we know that we don't have the same leeway that some of these white folks get. So if you know that to be true, then you making these kinds of mistakes, to me, I don't have no pity for you. I don't give a shit how they demolish your character. I don't care what happens, because you should have known better.
I think
you're not going to get the same leeway that your white counters get.
They let the celebrityism go to their head, so you know what I'm saying. That's what it is. That's just my assumption.
If
you know
your
what I'm
dirty
saying?
little cousin was running around here sleeping in the bed with little kids, he's 17 and the kid's 4. You would think it was weird. You would think it was strange, and it would be a problem. The fact that Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson, to me, that don't make a difference. I honor the legacy.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And that may or may not be true. And I'm not even really speaking about them because I don't know what the facts are in those particular cases. But to any celebrity, R. Kelly in particular, because we know that nigga did it. He the new OJ. We know he did it. The evidence is already out there. I saw the tape. All right, I used to work in all days. That was my first job.
We all saw the tape.
For real.
I worked at all days since I was shout out to Kurt. Kurt gave me my first job.
Oh, that's what's up.
I worked at all days when I was 14 years old, and
I think I had one all day
first job. I had a work permit. Kurt let me come in there every day after school and work. And I remember like a time when like you niggas just didn't do this kind of shit. Like, I don't know, people are weird. Like, you would never ever let people do this kind of shit if they was regular niggas.
So y'all saw the MJ documentary? I didn't watch it.
I saw the Oprah interview when she interviewed the 3 guys.
I just remember seeing the piss tape in all days. When
about R. Kelly.
He got the kills.
I saw the tape. Kurt had the tape in all days. I was 14. I said,
Jesus Christ.
She looked like me. Like, she was my age. She was definitely my age. I was 14 and she was definitely my age. He was definitely pissing on her. And those jokes that Dave Chappelle made 100 years ago now that we thought was so funny, like, none of this is new. So this nigga crying and turning into Tom
That shit was fake.
Jumping on the couch.
What the fuck he say? Oh no, the whole town know about it. Hey, yo, I was done when the nigga said that. The nigga sung the joke.
Why would I do this? And then take it down the street and buy shoes. Like, what is this replay talking about? Like,
Hey, he funny as shit. Hey,
What is this? And Gail was unbothered like shit.
she was so unbothered. She did not care. She really was like,
I got kids. I'm trying to say
Gail was like, that
shit.
check better post. That motherfucking
funny,
check better post, man.
Hey, man.
He's
snapped.
But
snapped.
whole time though,
Oh my
I
God,
really do
he
think it's a
snapped.
distraction from what's really going on.
What's really
as
going
far
on?
as like,
I think it's a distraction from Trump ruining it.
exactly. He's about to sell us to North Korea.
Like,
That's what I think.
Literally, like the things that he's signing, like into law, like those, like smaller legislations that they're kind of like sneaking in, right? That you have to be paying attention to. Like I remember,
Underneath the radar.
has nothing to do with the Republican Party specifically, but I remember maybe about 8 months ago. I'm a DC resident, right? I'm a homeowner there. I pay taxes. And I was telling my mother that there was a law passed specifically in DC, Maryland, and Virginia where police could come into your home without a warrant. That legislation was passed. And I was telling my mother about it. She didn't believe me, right? I said, no, Ma, just look it up, Google it. Those are things that affect us directly.
Right.
Definitely.
And when you look at the legislation, there's wording in it that states specifically that if you are near a metro, then you fall within the jurisdiction. Well, what does that mean? What does near mean, right? There's no, like, mileage or like devout resolution as far as like what that means. There's no kilometer. Near could be 30 miles. Near could be 40 miles. There is no major area, no major black area in DC, Maryland, or Virginia that is not within 30 miles of a metro.
Absolutely.
So that means that any black neighborhood can be violated based on this new legislation. And they snuck that motherfucker right in. So
I gotta
that's
read
what
up
I'm
on
saying.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
and my mother was not
Like
aware of that. Those
Why
are
they
things
why
that
they didn't make our text
our
thread, man?
cousins, our brothers,
I missed it, my bad. That's why we have this podcast.
That's what I'm
Inform me.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. That kind of legislation, and that snuck in 8 months ago. You know what I mean? Like right around the time he had just gotten into office. So like those are the kind of things that they're kind of like sneaking under the radar, relying on the fact that we're not paying attention, relying on the fact that we're not reading,
So they
and
sacrificed Michael
distracting
Jackson to R.
us
Kelly.
with this other
We
shit
sacrificed.
that doesn't matter.
Fuck them niggas, man.
For real, like them
You know what I'm saying?
niggas,
Cause
I definitely think them niggas are a distraction. And don't get me wrong, that nigga R. Kelly wrong. Like there's no way around
Man,
it.
y'all funny
I'm not
shit, though.
taking Slow Dance off of my Get the Draws anthology playlist personally, but I mean I understand the outrage. But I do think that these things are a distraction from other things that are happening that affect our community.
Absolutely.
And they know it's like, you know, it's a carrot in front of a rabbit. If you dangle it in front of us for long enough, we'll pay attention to that and ignore all these other things going on. And they'll make R. Kelly the huge headline on CNN and make, Donald Trump passes legislation.
Yeah, on the low column.
Like Russian colonies, entitlements to Virginia. Like they'll sneak that in like on a little thing that crosses the screen.
China buys the whole Northern Virginia.
Right.
Like, wait,
you
what?
Gotta, you gotta seek past the distractions because, you know, they sneak them in for sure.
Man.
Y'all just gave us a whole lot right
Yeah,
there.
now you just changed the whole gear of the text thread coming up
I'm as
tomorrow.
smart as I sound on this record. I'm not just music. I'm really this smart all the time.
Nah. Oh, that's facts. That's facts. You don't be preaching no bullshit. I mean, I know that. I know that.
Genius.
I remember when I first met you at Live.
Yes.
That was some years ago.
That was some years
What, in Miami?
ago.
Nah. Shit, that's a totally different story. Nah, on down on
Keep going.
11 for you.
Down.
11 for you.
Okay,
Yeah. But nah, that shit was dope. I was like, oh yeah. And then I started following you, and then saw your little your underground stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, she moving like a mug, man. I be peeping your moves in a good way. You know what I'm saying? In a good way. In a good way.
So I feel like there was a time where people, like there was almost like an elitist culture as far as music.
In
is
DC
concerned.
or
Yeah.
just
And I think in general,
What you mean?
but
Explain.
I have to speak for DC because that's where I am.
right?
I think there was a time, and I know when I first started, around like 2014. That was when like I first started doing shows and dropped the first project and all of those things. And I know at that time, being very new, it was just hard to get in the door. And so as a result, I kind of went outside of the DMV and started doing things. And even now, the things that I've been blessed with the opportunity to do, the people I've had the opportunity to meet, they didn't come from any connections here. Nothing I've accomplished as far as music, as far as placements, as far as anything has occurred directly as a result of the relationships that I've been here, that I've established here. And that's no shade to anybody because, you know, that's just how that's how it is
in this
You need
area.
to go out
I've kind of always
and get
known
it out
that.
the mud. Like,
I've kind of always known that.
yeah, like
So can you let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Let's talk about the music. Take us back.
Where did it all begin?
Where did it all begin?
Where did the musical inspiration? Where did your ambition come from?
I mean, I was born in '91, so I feel like it was like a golden era, maybe as far as lyricists. My brother and my sister are a lot older than I am. My brother's in his 40s, my sister's in her late 30s. So I did come up and then my parents are in their 60s, right, baby boomers. So you do come up around a lot of different kinds of music. My brother was listening to like Eazy-E and Spice One and a lot of West Coast shit. My sister was listening to like SWV and my parents were listening to the OJs and the Dramatics and the Shy Lights and the Stylistics. So you got a lot of things going on in your home, right? It gives you a lot of different influences, and then you grow up in an era with like Nelly popping and music is fun and it's experimental and you don't have to fit into a box of anything specific. Like you coming up in the Eminem era, like that's what was bumping when I was in elementary school. So
Timberland, Magoo,
Timberland, Magoo, like
Missy,
Love to Love You, and all those records.
All that shit was popping. 112.
Right, like those are the records that you come.
Jagged Edge.
Music
next.
that you didn't understand as a kid. You look back as an adult, you're like, damn, I really shouldn't have been listening to this.
No bullshit. I gotta go downtown.
Anyway was the
I'm
shit.
thinking
Like,
Woody's.
Anyway was the shit like 3rd, 4th grade.
My first
And I'm
rap
just
album
like,
was Doggy Style, Snoop. So that tells you.
great album.
Great classic.
Hey,
I
look,
would argue
classic.
that Nipsey's, and I was telling somebody this the other day, I argue this all the time. I think that Victory Lap is really the new Doggy Style. Like, I think it's that new establishment of West Coast rap.
It's
like,
a dope album. I like the production on it. It's a dope
to me, it
album.
was album of the year. Like
To me, too.
It was album of the year. I think it was a tie with Cardi because she was so fucking big. Like,
Thank you. I mean,
she was innumerably huge, like in a way.
I think it's
that
her team.
You can't
couldn't
escape,
miss
and
it.
you don't
Yeah, you
want
couldn't
to.
miss it.
Like, it wasn't just that
Cardi.
she was huge. Exactly. Cardi. Okay, all that. Like, you can't miss her, but also like she was so fucking likable. Like she was so funny. She was so authentic. She was so cool.
She
like,
made you like her.
She made you like her. You go to a party with
worked her
Cardi,
hustle.
you'll
I ain't
sit there
mad
and
at
have
that.
dinner with her.
She made you
She
like
made you feel some things that Nicki
She
didn't
definitely
make you
punched
feel.
through.
yeah, Nicki was a little bit too aggressive.
Nicki came out in a different era of music too, though. Like, to be fair to Nicki, like, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the music. I always felt like the singles were better than the albums. But I definitely feel like Nicki came out in a time in music where you were elitist, where you like stood on your own. You didn't like nobody. You didn't fuck with nobody. I'm the best of the best of the best, and I'll fuck with these other niggas.
I feel
and
that
Cardi
way.
came out with like, no, you say those things.
I feel that way.
But we understand
Dopest
that
rapper
building
ever.
relationships is everything.
Yeah.
Right? And
Facts.
I think like Nicki built relationships in the industry but didn't really build relationships with artists outside of some niggas here and there. She did features, she killed those.
I think it's coming back to bite her.
Right. And now I think like her desire to stand alone and to separate herself without maybe building within the industry, like creating like, you know, these more camaraderie based situations, it definitely is biting her in the ass. Because like people don't like Nicki. You know what I'm saying? Like people, it isn't just that Cardi is making like cranking ass music. People really like her.
Yeah.
And people don't
She
like
has a personality.
Nicki.
Yeah, she has a personality.
She
She's fun.
is.
Yeah.
You would go out and hang out with Cardi. Like
I have
you
a
would
question, though.
have coffee with her.
This made me, since we talk about Nicki and Cardi, what were some of your influences that made you want to get into music? Like your personal influences.
I think that's a super hard question, but I was like a R&B head, always have been, which is why I dibble and dabble and sing
I see.
when I can.
I got another question for you later on too about that. How would you classify your genre of music? But we're gonna give you one at a time.
Just load the potato up, man.
Give
Just
me
one
load
at
the
a time.
potato
I'm gonna let
up.
you walk into it. Like think about it for a minute.
Give me all the accoutrements on the potato, man.
Let me get some ink on no questions. But I don't know. Influences, that's a question I get a lot, and I'm always kind of unsure about how to answer it. Like, a little bit of everything. I like country music. I really can't say that there were any particular artists, because I feel like it gets, like, it's too broad. But I listen to a little bit of everything. I feel like the only genre of music that I wasn't really a fan of was probably like soca, dancehall. That wasn't ever really my thing.
It's not your vibe?
No,
I'm
it's never.
I'm
I
trying.
can't.
samba,
I'm
like
not there.
the
I'm not
I'm
involved.
Latino
I'm
vibe.
not
I'm
there. It's
Like,
not my thing.
I don't want to go to a club and listen to like I might, I throw on a Bob Marley,
I like heavy
Wailers
bass,
joint
personally,
here and
though.
there, but I don't want to sit around. I don't want to listen to that when I go out. Like that's just not me. But with the exception of that, I listen to a little bit of everything. I like Johnny Cash, June Carter, Taylor Swift. I think country music has some of the best writers.
I've heard
told
that.
some of the best stories. It really does. Like Johnny Cash told like the best stories. So, and my family was like fans of country music too. Like, so I grew up around a lot of different things. Part of my family is Muslim, so
Gotcha.
there are those religious influences and.
I hear that it plays a part of your music. I hear it come out some of the religious influence.
He thought you was a gospel rapper.
Or
He said, "What is this
rapper.
Christian rap
Yeah.
you sent me, man?"
Took to the
Because I
cream
sent
route or
I sent
something.
Road to Paradise like a month,
The
2
first
months
joint
ago or
on
something
Road
like
to
that.
Paradise, to me, I feel like it could go on gospel radio. I'm looking into that.
Yeah, after the first 2 or 3 tracks, I had to hit my man. Text
Hey,
me.
Yeah, like-
But they will bump your shit in pure.
So, no.
They will bump the
I'm
gospel in
heavily-
pure.
I'm
So-
heavily influenced by that.
That helps me ask the next question. Like, how would you classify your music? If you had to classify it.
If I had to classify it, I would still say that it was hip hop.
Okay.
Because there's a shit ton of curse words. And, like even still, there's some sexual references there. So
But I feel like it's classy though.
Yeah,
like
like
it's not raunchy and distasteful.
That's not my style, like in any way, shape, or form. I've never been the type of female to discuss what goes on in my bedroom. It's none of your fucking business. I'm that way through and through. And the same is true with my music because I really feel that way in real life. I just don't think women should discuss that kind of thing. And maybe that's like, like
The old school.
yeah, maybe that's like a
Because I be that
thing,
way.
like a lineage
That's kind of why I don't
thing,
like a
but
lot of female rappers, honestly. That is the reason.
I don't
like,
want to talk about that because it's none of
Yeah.
your business. One, and then two, I feel like it immediately minimizes my ability to explore my options.
Are you just selling sex?
Yeah.
I don't
Like I feel like that
Yeah.
the moment that I start talking about pussy on sideburns, that's how people see me. You know what I'm saying? Like I really feel that way. And as a woman, that tends to be the case. Like you can be a lawyer and an accountant and a mother and a biologist and a scientist and a tax attorney all at one time. But the moment that you start talking about you horny and how wet you are and posting that kind of shit on
You
Facebook
got
and
876
Instagram, that's all
DMs.
people see you as.
Double
Like you can be a
standards, huh?
lawyer with 5 kids and the best mom in the world, but as soon as you talking about your vagina, that becomes the focus.
It does.
And
It is a double standard because
I
as a
don't
men
want to
rappers,
be
they can do
grouped
whatever the
into
fuck they
that.
want.
And then also now, because like I'm getting placed on legitimate albums because I'm writing music for other people. When I walk into a meeting, when I walk into a room, I need like people to be open-minded about the possibility of the situation. And that's not to say that closed-mindedness doesn't happen no matter what your genre is. But I feel like as a female in particular, the moment that I start glorifying my body and making that the focus of my music, that's how people see me, and it limits people's ability to take me seriously.
The perception is tainted.
Yeah, like, and I'm just not about that, like, cause it's none of your concern anyway. I get into it a little bit because it's a part of life as an adult. You know what I mean? I'm
It is what it
27,
is.
so.
Even your personal
fucking-
posts, like
but-
Yeah, it is what it is.
on
But
social
it's none of your
media.
business how, when, where, why, and whom.
Right.
Like,
Even
That's
your
it.
personal posts on social media doesn't come off like that. So like you as an artist, like I would never picture that. Like
that's
the
not,
slightest.
We not getting into it. Like, I'm not getting into that. Like, if I feel that way, then those are songs that I'm writing for other people.
Right,
I'm not
right,
the one
right,
singing
right.
them. I'm not the one performing them. I'm not the one giving them to them. If I feel that type of way, then somebody else is definitely getting that record. There are records like that. I got to join on Kalani's new project, so there are songs like that.
Right,
but
right.
They're not for me. And
Not your
they
flavor.
They're never will.
How would you create as far as your writing process, your creative process, how would you describe it? Like how you get in your zone?
It varies a little bit. I feel like the best music I've ever written, a lot of it happened in my car.
I feel the same way.
Because I get a lot of ideas. You riding around, you
That's how I
listening to a
be.
lot of different music. Ideas pop into your head. And so you end up, coming up with ideas like on the fly. I've nearly killed myself many times trying to write shit. But like ultimately, the inspiration comes from experience. A lot of it is about men. A lot of it is about the relationships that I've had, their impact on me, their effect on how I see myself, their effect on how I see the world. And that's the perspective I write from. I try to write from the perspective of an honest, educated, damaged, thoroughly experienced black woman. Like,
Low key, this is my most favorite song.
Do you write?
off the album.
You write pen to pad on your phone? How you do it?
I haven't in so long. I haven't written pen to pad in so long.
So you got your phone, you be writing when you
It's always
record
the
the phone.
Depending on the way the records go now, like we'll go to the studio and I'll just get ideas. We'll lay them down, we'll layer them, we see how they happen.
Mm-hmm.
If they sound good, we'll keep them and we like kind of like double on top of that.
Gotcha,
So the
gotcha.
process varies a little bit, but
Gotcha.
I haven't been pen to pad in a long time. Not because I have any problem with that process, but for me it's too slow.
I got
Like
you.
I'm a faster texter and I'm very forgetful. I smoked a lot of weed for a long period of time. All my short-term brain cells are gone. So if I get an idea, I have to write it down right then or I will forget. There are like
I know the
literally
feeling.
thousands
I
and
know the
thousands
feeling.
of one-liners in my phone. I don't have nothing to go with it, but it's an idea. I like it. I'll build on it at some point. So for me, like writing pen to pad, it takes too long.
I think it's a generational thing, because too, I used to write. So
Okay.
for me, it's like, I can get my whole rocks off, my thoughts off on the pen.
Right.
For some reason, when it's time when I'm on my phone, I've tried it, and I was
Right.
like, man, I'm not feeling it with the phone. Like, I can
Right.
write the bars and it sound
I get
good,
it.
but it's not impactful and feeling like the way I would write it, like
Right.
on paper. Like on paper, it's like, man, I'm really getting this off. You know what I mean? So,
Nah, I feel you. Like, I really do think it is a generational thing. And for me, it's like more like a speed thing. Like, I got to get the idea out as quickly as possible or I might forget it.
I feel you.
So,
go with that too.
that's like the main
Yeah,
reason.
I get
like,
you.
I got an idea, boom. Like, I'm not,
You got to stop smoking.
like, it's not 1986. I'm not carrying a pen and pad around with me when I go to the mall. Like, you know what I'm saying?
a
Let me
whole
get your number.
joke.
Pull the pad out. Hey,
I be the
write
same
your
way.
number on a sticky note. You know what I'm saying? Like, what
You pull
is
out these
this?
notes on this iPhone
Yeah,
right there.
like, you know what I'm saying? You pull out
Niggas
your-
ain't shit. Bop, bop, bop. That's the hook.
I try to stay away from that though. You know what? I have a question. Since
What's
we
up?
in
We
the
here
interview
talk.
setting,
We here.
Do you think, like, do you get like a niggas ain't shit vibe from my music? I've always
Nah, I don't get that
Nah,
at all.
nah.
I don't get that
I feel
at
like
all.
Amanda Zales does that enough.
Nah. Oh, you wild as shit. No, I don't get that at all. I actually want to go to church
petty as
after
shit.
this album, so I'm joking. But no, the first couple of tracks, I thought it was about to go that route, but then I started listening to some. I was like, oh, I see you talking about some other things.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
I try to approach it from
Your
a-
relationship troubles and different stuff. I started listening. I was
I
like,
try
I
to
hear you.
approach it from as honest a perspective as I can. I think experience creates natural bias.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is that your experiences in life generate a certain level of bias in you. The things that you experience dictate the way you see the world, right? So if you come from a two-parent household, that might make you see relationships differently than if your father left your mother at a young age.
I absolutely
If you
feel
say-
it.
That's just
If
kind
I
of how
do
it
say-
goes.
If I do say.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, I think because I'm like at an age where I'm emerging into womanhood fully, emerging into adulthood fully, I try to make music that's accountable.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, like some niggas have done me wrong. There were mistakes that were made along the way. Some people have done some things that I felt like were fucked up. But that don't make them bad people.
Right.
Because if by those black and white standards you look at somebody doing you wrong and say, oh, that makes them a bad person, then shit, everybody is bad people.
Everyone.
Because everybody's done something. I've cheated before, I've lied before, I've made mistakes, and I don't feel like that determines who I am.
Damn, I thought I was the only
So,
one.
you know what I'm saying?
You're not by yourself.
I'm not
You're not by yourself, bro. You have company.
Cheaters Anonymous.
It was only once.
I'm here for
but
the
it was
Cheaters
the worst
Anonymous.
decision I ever made. Not because of the cheating itself. To be real, that relationship didn't mean nothing to me then. It don't mean nothing to me now.
Oh,
but
young
not like
savage.
that. It was like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like,
She snapped right there. Them niggas
Young
ain't shit.
savage.
nah, but
Bow, bow,
this shit
bow,
was like
bow.
2 months,
Hey.
you know what I mean?
I feel you.
But 2 months cost me a year. I had to get a restraining order against that nigga.
Oh, yeah,
like
the whole lot
he
going
went
on.
crazy.
No, man,
like
you don't need them type of
because
troubles. Shit.
I sort of like I was fresh out of a very long relationship. It was like 4 or 5 years off and on.
Oh, you was trying to have fun. You weren't trying to be locked back.
Oh,
in,
I
man.
was
I got you.
like it's different for women. So women are less like, oh, I just want to get out here and have a good time, and more about like you want to feel wanted again. You want to feel needed again. You know what I mean? And a lot of times the rebound guy, he sees your insecurities, and if he's a nice guy, you know, he'll make an effort to try to like.
I was
feel
definitely
like
the Dennis Rodman of relationship.
Rebound man.
I was
Rebound
rebound.
man.
Like I was
For real.
assist
Niggas
rebound.
clean up the place.
a lot of people
I was
are
a
serial
rebound guy. I am the rebound guy. I'm
For real?
fucking Dennis Rodman.
monogamous. People are
Oh,
serial
man.
the
monogamous.
streets.
They jump. out of one thing into another thing, out of one thing.
Don't call
into
me out
another
like that.
thing.
Don't be talking about me on this podcast like that.
Man,
Hey, y'all
shit.
funny shit though.
Get your hand on my
Real
pocket.
shit though. But like,
I'm listening though.
you know what I'm saying? I was fresh out of something that did mean something to me. It was very deep, and I just wanted to forget it. I didn't want to deal with the emotion of it. I didn't want to deal with how hurt I was. And so my solution at that time, right, I was a child. So my solution was to just ignore it. Like, fuck that nigga, fuck that shit, whatever.
All right, so
The
let me,
guys
Guy
gotta go through a
comes
similar
along,
thing. We just go.
He said all the right things. He did all the right things, and I wanted that. It wasn't that I wanted him. As
You
much
wanted
as
the
I
fun and
wanted
gun.
The way he made me feel. I liked the
feel
way
you.
he made me
I
feel.
got you. I
But after a
understand.
couple months of that shit, I was like,
Like,
shit,
I'm
I'm
done
back,
with
baby.
this. I'm
Like,
back.
I'm back.
I'm
nigga. I
healed. I don't need this no more. I'm healed. I'm moving on.
I'm good to go, nigga. I'm all good.
it was Kareem Agba. He's the Santa to CMB.
But to get
He
back
was
to
real headed to see him.
hey, y'all funny shit.
Never liked you anyway.
Back to the music. I like close off. Ironically,
That's my
right?
favorite.
And I also
The
like
irony in
interlude,
it.
The interlude make love. Like,
Those are my favorite joints.
kind of wrote something to that on the low just to let you know I'm on the remix. So now,
I was already in the DMs about making some beats and shit. Like I gotta let the Future Band stuff slow down a little bit. Like, yeah, for real.
Yeah, y'all real life poppin'.
Thank you.
Shout out to Future.
Shout out Future Band,
Cheers
y'all.
to Future Band.
Cheers to Future Band, man. Hey,
shout out to Future Man.
Hey,
Black men doing big things.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate
And
it.
Future Band is legit. I remember going to see them at like the UA open mic.
Oh yeah, damn.
And
God
that was when I
damn.
How long ago
first
was this?
started, man.
Put
That
me
was when
on,
I
tell
first
me.
started.
What
So
was
that was
this?
like 2013.
14? It's 13?
14. That's like
Oh, you been doing this since then? I ain't know that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't know
yeah.
that, bro.
third year out of school. So yeah, I
Yeah.
had like just graduated college and had just figured out,
Where you go to school?
maybe I'll do music. I went to West Virginia.
Okay.
So I had just came back home and I was going to the UAs like, oh, I think I'm gonna try to do a couple open mics. I went to like 3 or 4 nervous as shit, like when I can't do it. And I remember James. The reason I remember it so vividly is because the nigga that I said I had to get a restraining order, he had made some songs about me. That was really what motivated me to get serious.
It's like, I gotta get my balls. Yo, nigga talking about
You need to get hurt.
Mike.
Hey, you need to
What
get
you
hurt.
talking about?
Hey, you need to get hurt.
Listen,
I need to get hurt.
You need to get hurt.
I have enough pain already, bro. I can write for days, nigga. I can write for days on the pain.
He was so bad at it. And I just was like, I could do better than this. Like,
Oh shit.
so I started, he made a joint about me, this terrible
I feel
song
you.
about me, to J. Cole's Power Trip.
Oh my god.
And
Started off, it was trash.
I don't remember any of it. I remember the first leg. The first line of it was, okay, back when I was sleeping at your mama crib, okay, it's been a minute since I did that, right?
Right.
So, cause I had just graduated from school. I ain't had no house. Like I was,
Right,
you know
right.
what
He was
I'm saying?
snapping. He was
so
going
he was
on.
going off on me. I'm like,
Oh,
trying to go because I still live with my moms when he was
Ain't
sleeping
nothing
on the
wrong with
floor,
that.
And my best friend
Try to play you
he
and
was like,
shit.
try to play
That nigga made a diss track.
Nigga don't got no backpack, no headboard.
This is Safari.
I said,
How dare you?
how dare this nigga? And he was the push that I needed. So shout out to that guy.
Shout out to this
Yeah,
guy.
shout out to that guy.
God bless
Got you in the
that
booth
guy,
killing it right
God
now.
bless
Whoever that
that
guy is, shout out to him.
No bull, man. Like I made
Thank you.
$2,000 in royalties last year. So God
Damn,
bless you.
here we up.
Thank you so much.
I missed it. What happened? I missed that went over my head like shit. Bring it back.
Real shit, man.
Rewind the
I
clip,
made-
man.
I made 60K in royalties last year,
Oh,
so
yeah.
shout out to that nigga.
We are
I
doing
needed
music.
you. You know what I'm saying? That motivation was everything. God bless you.
Nah, hell yeah, that's
Damn.
good. That's blessed up. Blessed
But-
up.
What's up with the single "Love Me"?
Love Me.
What's that about?
Paradise came out like almost a year to the day.
Right,
And
right.
I put Love Me out, and really like the Road to Paradise was. The project itself was a unique experience. I had a manager. We had a falling out. It wasn't. He had a totally different vision for
For the
me and
project.
for the music
Okay.
than I did for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really trying to encourage me to quit music. So
What?
Why?
Why?
because he had different agendas. We're not gonna get into
Ah,
it.
you right.
Okay.
But
Okay.
He had a different idea. So
Stevie J.
Creative differences. That's it. Moving on. You know what I mean? We still
Jocelyn.
here moving on.
you know what I'm saying? So we had
We
some
ain't going back to the strip club, Stevie.
We are not going back, Stevie.
we had some creative differences and we went our separate ways. And so like the Road to Paradise was tough to get done. The first project that I did was Love and Other Drugs. That's on Sparrow. You can still get it.
Okay.
And it came out like 2014, and Paradise came out like 2018. Like it's a really large gap considering people putting out music like every 6 or 8 months.
Because I was about to ask you, like, I remember something coming out before Road to Paradise.
Right. So Love and Other Drugs, that came out 2014, and I was doing a bunch of shows and making all of the contacts, all the things that put me in position to actually be able to make money in music later on. But the music I just wasn't doing any music. I was writing for other people. I had other things going on. And so putting out another project should have been a priority for me, but it just wasn't. And also, like, Love and Other Drugs was a weird experience anyway, because I hadn't planned on being an artist. That wasn't my plan. So, I did a bunch of songs, me and my friends. And I didn't think nobody was gonna listen. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I was hurting and I needed a way to heal, and the music became that. It became therapy. But I never thought anybody would listen. And then it got like 75,000 downloads. So I was like, oh, okay, like maybe we could do something with this. So I got involved more on the business side of things, and the creative side was less of a focus. And that should never be the case, but that's just how it was.
Right.
So I was doing a bunch of music, always in the studio, always creating, but I wasn't putting any of it out because I just wanted it to go on this project. But because it took so long, by the time the Road to Paradise dropped, I was detached from the project. I wasn't in the emotional space that I was on the album anymore. I had been in a relationship literally for the entirety of it, and I wasn't in that relationship anymore. So I just wasn't as attached to the music. So it became like a one-off. Like, I need to get some music out. And so Love Me was like sort of like a reintroduction, which is why I released it like almost like a year to the day.
So what you prefer doing, singing or rapping?
I honestly prefer rapping. I'm a rapper.
That's what I'm talking about.
But from an industry standpoint,
you gotta blend them.
You gotta be
it's
able
the
to
times that we in right now. You have to.
It's the times that we in. You have to
do both.
be able to do both.
You have to be able to do both.
And also it makes your music, I don't know, it catapults it to a different level. Because there was a time in music where the rappers rapped and the singers sung, and that's how it was. And now, and people will remix your shit, right? So they could give your music a totally different sound or a totally different vibe because they did something different that you wasn't able to do on the record. Now, because there's so much combination of like talent and ability on a song, like this artist is, they singing, they arranging, they rapping, they writing,
doing everything.
they producing, right? It leaves very little room for you to be able to come in and take my shit and jacquees it. You know what I'm saying?
Ryan Leslie.
And the only reason that he got it so big was because he gave us like the nigga version of LMA. LMA gave us, you know what I'm saying?
You know we love the nigga version of everything.
Exactly.
The world loves niggas, man.
The world loves niggas.
But they don't love niggas, if you know what I mean.
Everybody want a real nigga version. I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? But that was why that record, I felt like that's why that record blew the way that it did, because he gave like a real nigga version of these very.
He did.
Soft,
I can't even hate.
Very feminine emotion. So shout out to Jacquees.
Shout out to Jacquees. Damn. I guess, man.
So shout out to LMA and Jacquees.
LMA supposed to be here.
Broccoli City.
Yeah.
Yep, she definitely is. I won't be there, but that shit's gonna be lit.
Cypress Hill is supposed to be here this Friday.
At Broccoli City?
No, at Fillmore.
Oh, okay. Fillmore. I was gonna say, yeah. I know she coming here for Broccoli City Fest. Shout out to Uncle Scooty and Rock Free Social Club. This will be my first year not being there, so they've got more than enough money.
We performed at Broccoli City like a couple of years ago. Yeah, like in 2015.
Yeah, I've never understood, like, I never see, like, there's so many great local artists here. And I know that they've definitely put on, like, some big local artists at various points. But I've never seen, like a real intermingling. Like, Chaz was there one year, Pinky was there one year, y'all was there one year. That's like, damn, there's so much talent here. Like,
I think we should probably put on, like, a local artist joint.
But you know what, like,
I think that's something the artists gonna have to put together.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's easier said than done. Like, I think people say those.
No, absolutely, yeah, it is easier said than done. Because that's
all of this about to segue to my next question.
Adventures, like.
Because I can think of 10 local artists right now that it'll just be crazy. Like
Young Prince.
Like, Young Prince, Risa Renee, Pinky Killer.
So let me ask this question then, since this kind of the lane of my next question. Do you think it's kind of hard to come out of the DMV area with music?
I do.
I'm gonna say yeah.
I definitely do. I think that there's an understanding in different areas. And don't get me wrong, anybody you talk to in any major city doing music is going to tell you that the people don't show love. Niggas be hating.
That's everyone.
People don't.
We know that already. You gotta get on the road.
The radio's not playing your shit. Everybody say that. I got homies in Memphis, Atlanta, Nashville. They all say that. So that's like a feeling that I think independent artists have everywhere. The vibe is not that people don't support that city. It's that people have a hard time supporting independent artists. People go where the money is. And the money and machine is already behind these artists.
Facts.
So they want to get behind those artists. They hoping that they going DJ Khaled, you know what I'm saying? These local radio DJs. Because you got to think like, and something I didn't realize, because these like local DJs, they seem like superstars. You know what I mean? Like when they in their home city, they run their city. But then they go out of town and you figure out what the reality is of their situations. They want to get on too. Like they want to be next level too.
Yeah.
Like that local radio DJ would like to be Charlemagne.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That Charlemagne would like to be
DJ
Brian Seacrest.